Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the D1Softball podcast. Today's episode is brought to us by our friends at S2 Cognition. S2 Cognition delivers a revolutionary approach to helping athletes understand how in-game decisions impact their performance from the youth levels all the way to the pros. I'm your host, Amanda Lorenz. My co-host, Jenna Becerra, is out this week, so I thought the perfect way for me to host my first solo episode would be to have some Gators on to help me out, of course. So today we have Ava Brown and Keagan Rothrock from the University of Florida. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us. Really excited.
I'm so excited to be able to spend some time with you guys. We have some freshman superstars with us, 8-game win streak. You guys won your second straight SEC series by sweeping Kentucky, including 2 run rules. No midweek this week. Head to Starkville, Mississippi for Mississippi State matchup. How are you guys feeling now that you are 2 SEC series in?
I think we're getting more confident and more sure of ourselves as we keep going on, especially with the older players and the younger players just continuing to mesh more and more as we go on. I think we're all excited for our next SEC series. Yeah, and with that, I think with the confidence, our team's really just been on a roll offensively. We're seeing everything really well. And then obviously that makes our jobs a lot easier whenever we can look up on the scoreboard and there's 10 runs in the 3rd inning, right? It's been really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so fun to watch, I think, for all softball fans, but especially the Gator fans. It's been a lot of fun for sure. And it's funny you guys say, talking about the confidence piece and getting more sure of yourselves. I think you guys have come in and just totally have been playing like vets from the second that you guys started, which has been so impressive. So Keagan, talk to me about the confidence and poise you're able to show so early in your career.
I think a lot of it has to do with the defense that I have behind me. Just knowing that they're going to make the plays that I'm not able to make. And also just knowing that I also have Jossie behind the plate to support me as well. I think that's all contributed to helping me stay more controlled on the mound and not show my emotions.
I love it. And both of you are actually two-way players, but we've seen a little bit more of that from you, Ava. So talk to me about the way that you can just impact the game from the circle to the box and even over at first base, and also just juggling that as a freshman. I think juggling one position as a freshman is hard enough, and you're doing quite a lot of it. So talk to me a little bit about that.
It's definitely tough, but in the fall, Coach Walton, Coach Thomas, Coach Nan, Coach Dobbins, all 4 made a lot of effort into making sure that I was taken care of and really getting a good grasp of what I needed at practice so that I wasn't overworked, overwhelmed, because obviously whatever they told me to do, I was going to do it. And it was one of those things where it was by the end of the day, I was so tired. And so again, they did a really good job making sure that I was taken care of in that sense. But then in game, I think it really allows me to not have as much pressure on myself, which I feel is the opposite of what people might think. Doing more stuff, people think that it puts more pressure on you. But really, I think it takes a lot of it off because I have the ability to make up for any missed performance or anything like that on the opposite side of the ball, which I think is really important.
Love it. Keagan, you talked a little bit about Jossie behind the plate. Just talk about, the impact that she's been able to have on the game and just as far as watching you guys has been so incredible. But to have a leader like that behind the plate for you 2 freshmen, what is that like? And also all the confidence to know that you're daring the other team to try and steal so you can get an easy out.
She is just an awesome person on and off the field. And just being around her, she just is somebody who, her personality is, just one you want to be around. And so as a pitcher, it's just, you love throwing to her. And so I think she's done a great job guiding us as young pitchers. And I would agree with the throwing runners out. I love watching her do her thing behind the plate. And it's just so fun to watch. And throw, too.
What about you, Ava? Anything to add on throwing to Jocelyn?
She brings me a lot of confidence because I think she gives really good feedback. I'm somebody who, especially throwing to live hitters and, throwing to her as a hitter, I like doing that because I feel she sees it differently from other people because she's a catcher. But I feel her feedback's really good. So in bullpens and stuff like that, I feel she genuinely gets me better just as a catcher.
I love it. As for returning pitchers, 0 returning pitchers on the squad for the Gators this year. So you guys are kind of thrown into the fire and having to have a lot of those bulk innings, but also just 0 returning pitchers means 0 pitchers to kind of show you how the Gators do things. So with that, who has been like some of the athletes on the team that you've kind of turned to, have kind of helped mentor you guys and getting you prepared for this kind of schedule and just the standard at Florida?
I'd say probably Emily, out of everybody, just because she's like, if we're considering the catchers part of the staff too, like she's the only like one staff member back. So I think she's done a great job just kind of guiding us, especially through games and through our bullpens and our pregame routines as well. I think she's done an amazing job leading us and just kind of showing us how things are done, like at practice, at games, and bullpens, and everything of that nature.
Yeah, I really turned to Skylar and Kendra a lot. I feel like, and in game, if anybody ever sees, like those are always the people that I direct a lot of my attention to in game, and it's because like for me, like just hearing Skylar's voice is like a safe space for me. And then I like to communicate to Kendra because I feel like she's my leader of the outfield. So it's like you have Skylar for the infield, Kendra for the outfield, and like being able to have that relationship with them, I feel like has been a really key part to our success, and then to us having a lot more comfort and being able to play, like you said, with more maturity than people may have expected.
I love it. So freshman year, first SEC series, you guys are playing at Alabama. I had a similar experience. So my freshman year, my first SEC series was at Auburn. And I remember just like walking in and the crowd was so loud, and I got to get on the bus after. I'm like, we get to do that again tomorrow. Like that was so cool. So I know that you guys felt the same way, like because Tuscaloosa is such a tough place to play, but such a cool place to play. So talk to me about that environment, especially for your first SEC series. And was it what you were expecting? Was it more than you were expecting? Like talk a little bit about that.
It was not exactly, at least for me, it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I knew we were kind of getting thrown in the deep end. Staff starting it off at Alabama, but I feel like we handled it so well. And we played music here like as loud as humanly possible leading up to. So I feel like that definitely helped as well. I did tell Coach Wallen, though, I feel like we should have played it louder. But I think it definitely helped kind of edge what we were going into. And I was proud of everybody for just everything. I felt like everybody wanted to just give their all, especially given that Alabama was our starting SEC weekend.
Yeah, I felt like for me and for a lot of us, I felt like it was a really good learning experience too. Like, I think our team did a very good job of tuning all of that out. And even though I feel like the fans definitely could have been worse as far as what they were saying, they were very loud, and we were surrounded because the outfield was completely full, which is also something we're not used to. And so it was like being able to tune that out and only focus on our people, I think was a really good thing for our team in that weekend.
Amazing. Okay, what has been, you guys, Keagan, you go first. What has been your favorite moment of this season so far?
Obviously, our 2 SEC series so far, but off the field, I feel like our bus rides are really fun. To and from the field, we had a really fun bus ride to Alabama. And then we play hacky sack a lot too. Not the greatest at it, but I think it's so fun, and I think it's just helped us become closer too as teammates and friends.
If I had to pick like a specific time, I would say I felt like our team really turned the page whenever we had beat UCLA in California. I think that was a game that we were definitely all looking forward to, because I think that was going to be the key game that would determine where we stood. Outside of playing Oklahoma State at home kind of thrown on us. Like, I think UCLA was definitely a game we were all looking forward to. And so once we had won that game, like, I think the dynamic of our team was like, it flipped. It was like, okay, like we can do this. Like we have the guts, we have it. Like, and at that point, I think was also whenever the freshmen kind of turned too, and we were all like, okay, like they trust us because they have to, right? It was like they trust us, and like we're able to all trust each other, and so that was definitely one of my favorite moments.
So good. What are you guys most looking forward to we have most of the season, probably about half left? What are you guys most looking forward to?
I'm really excited to play LSU here. I think that'll be a really fun series. I have some friends on that team too, but then like the journey that they've been on as far as them fluctuating in the rankings and like all that stuff, like I think that series specifically at home, I think that'll be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that, just with the way they've been playing as well, and just the presence that they bring, given they've been doing really well this season. I think that's just another opportunity for us, both as freshmen and as a team, to just continue to show what we have and what we can do.
Okay, great. All right, let's get into some like more fun things off the field. Are you guys roommates?
No.
But you guys are in dorms, correct? Do you guys have any favorite spots in Gainesville? Your favorite spots to eat?
So I live with Mia Williams and Alyssa Hovermail, and we found this frozen yogurt place called Menchie's, and it's so good. And we go there all the time. It's so good, and I highly recommend.
I love it. A chain. So all of our listeners I'm sure will be able to find a Menchie's close by.
Yes, no, they totally will. But I had never heard it. Like, there's no Menchie's in Texas, and I don't think there's any in California. And Mia had never heard of it. So to us, like, it's our like hidden gem.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good. What about you, Keagan?
Oh, favorite place to eat. I'd have to say Texas Roadhouse. Also a chain. But
no, that's a solid choice.
Some rolls.
Like, you know what you're gonna get.
I don't like it. I'm from Texas and I don't like it. Sorry. Unpopular opinion.
It's okay. It's okay. Anything that would shock our listeners? Like, what are things that you guys like to do off the field? Some of your interests that will just give us a little bit more insight into who you guys are as people.
This isn't like a shocking thing, but I think something that I really enjoy with my roommates is like, especially after a really long week or after a long series and like stuff like that, where like we may have struggled a little bit or like we can just tell that we need each other. Like making the effort with my roommates has really been a big thing for me because I had a rough fall being homesick and everything. So us going on drives and like listening to music and just having fun and being able to like wear our comfortable clothes, not have any no ties to anything, just being able to like be ourselves, sing music, drive around with the windows down, go get ice cream, go get food, whatever. Like those are times that I really enjoy just because I feel like it's like my escape from my job or my reality. And I really look forward to times like that.
I would agree with that. I'd say I'm pretty close with my roommates as well. I'm roommates with Cassidy McClellan and Ariel Kowalewski. And for me, it's just the times where we're able to sit. None of us have our cars, so we are not able to drive off campus together. But the times where we just sit in our living room at our dining table and we do our homework in just like silence and we're just with each other, I feel like that's been a big thing. And I just feel like as a whole, like our whole team is just really close overall. And not that it's something you wouldn't expect, but I feel like we're closer than you would expect, and I feel like it's starting to show more and more on the field as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the coolest thing about, so many freshmen on this squad, like having such a impact, right? Like you guys are kind of thrown into the fire and then also like helps your relationship as well of just this big freshman class coming in and you guys are needed, right? Like it wasn't like they really needed you and wanted you guys to feel welcome right away. And obviously you can see the fact that you guys are so excited for everybody's success. I mean, I can see it. There just looks like there's so much passion in the dugout. And obviously as an alum, that fires me up and makes me so happy. But it's just been so fun to watch you guys come in and compete and be so yourselves. Like the celebrations that I've seen from you two after big outs, gosh, it's so awesome. Like that, to have like that ability to be yourself that young in your career. And obviously you guys are getting a lot of opportunity that you guys have absolutely earned, but it's been so fun to watch and definitely Gator Nation has been really excited about you two for a really long time. And I know that we are so lucky that we get so much more time with you two. Is there anything else to add? Thank you guys so much for joining me and sharing a little bit about the season and how you guys are doing. But you guys have been so much fun to watch.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Okay, and as I said before, this was just me on this episode. So our episode this week was just Ava and Keagan, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun to learn from them and hear how their experience so far in the SEC and as Florida Gators has been going. Can't wait to see them continue to do amazing things. And go Gators, of course, like always. And thank you so much for listening and joining us, and we will see you again next week.